It's October, and that means it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
And thanks to efforts like this, the American Cancer Society says that there has been a 43% drop in breast cancer deaths over the past 3 decades. However, there is still an alarming disparity when it comes to deaths among black women. According to the CDC, black women have more than a 40% higher death rate compared to white women. And the Minnesota Department of Health says that black women have less than an 80% chance of surviving the 5 years if they're diagnosed early. Compare that to 90% for white women. So this morning we're talking about this really important issue, taking a closer look at what a group of women in the Twin Cities are doing about it. This right here on your screen, this is Adrienne Jordan. She's one of those women. She's working with the Breast Cancer Gaps Project. She's also sharing her own story of survival in this video. It's a video that you can find online, but first we have Adrienne joining us live here this morning. Hey, thanks for being with us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to share more about my story and this project.
Yeah, I mean, well, first, before we get into the disparity, which, and the reasons behind it, let's hear your story. Tell us about you.
Yeah, so in the fall of 2019, I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. I was living my best life. I felt fine. And I just happened to be putting on a sports bra, found a lump, do not have breast cancer in my family, did not think it was going to be a big deal. However, I had really good access to quality health care. So I went right in that next week to get screened. That was my first mammogram. I was 45, my first mammogram. Found cancer, and within a week, I knew I was diagnosed with cancer and was on a trajectory of finding the right treatment plan for me. And so I just think about, I was at the Arboretum with my daughter Kennedy last week doing senior photos. Had I not acted quickly, had I not gotten screened, I might not be here today. Yeah. And so it's really important.
So Adrienne, I'm curious, what has the group's research shown in terms of why we are seeing this alarming disparity? Because it is alarming.
It is alarming. It's unacceptable, actually, is what we all agree to. And it's a group of really amazing women. I want to just give a shout out to our team. It's just me and the front here sharing the story. We found that there's a lot of fear. And so fear of being diagnosed, fear of dying. And what we do know is that about 10% of lumps that are found are cancerous. So 90% of the time, it's not cancer. We also know that there's new advances in medical treatments, new treatments available. And so living longer is also a higher probability. So we found a lot of fear. And then we also found there was a low sense of urgency. I feel fine. I don't have breast cancer in my family, are things that we heard. And so that was another theme that we said we have to be more, have a higher sense of urgency. And then there's information confusion. What are the guidelines? When do I get screened? How do I get screened?
Yeah. Right, right. And I watched your video, and you had said in your video when you were going through this treatment, and yours was pretty aggressive. I mean, you're talking about chemo and radiation and surgery. You didn't see other women around you that looked like you.
No, I didn't. And I thought to myself, and you'll see in the video, I just did not understand. And it has to be that we aren't having these hard conversations. We have fear. We don't have access to high quality health care. Whatever it is, the GAPS Project wants to figure that out, and we want to raise awareness. We want to educate, and we want folks to get screened. We want to take friends and family members to get screened. And our whole message is we all matter. We all matter. And so I want to see a full diversity of women who are healthy. And if we do need to get treated, then let's make sure we all have access and that we are to get screened.
You just talked about the GAPS Project. So what other types of solutions are starting to show up as viable options now?
Yeah, we're really early in the prototyping process. And so what we're doing right here today is one of the solutions that we identified very early. We have to raise awareness. We have to raise and bring education to folks about what are mammograms, how do they work, where can I get a mammogram? And so that's our first step, is really awareness and education. There's videos on the breastcancergaps.org website that we'd love you to just watch, get screened, and share widely and deeply with your network. So that's the first solution. 2.0 of this, as we get more into the iterative process of this design thinking, we're going to start thinking about community hubs, trusted partners. How do we build trusted relationships as well?
Right. I mean, that's really sort of the key and the essential component to this. Adrienne, thank you so much for sharing your story and for doing all that you do. We really appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me. Go get screened, everybody. Thank you.
Absolutely.